Hi guys, so today guys I will be talking about what it's like to be autistic. I get asked this quite a lot, and obviously for me it's, well, I know no different. For my whole life, I always was told I was different. I was always told by a lot of people that there was something wrong with me. Luckily never my parents, but I had some teachers growing up that it was very much the terminology was wrong or different or odd. But for me, I'm no different from a very young age, and it's difficult because you go through life, and I saw that an autistic person once wrote this, and I saw it on Twitter or Facebook, or I saw it on social media, but he basically said that being autistic is like you're in a play and everybody else has the script apart from you, and you just have to somehow, some way coordinate through the play, and you just develop tactics, improvisation, copying other people, asking, picking up moral feelings and empathy from other people's decisions and what they're doing. And it is very difficult, which I think always leads, and I've always said it, to autistic people having more empathy. I hate the stigma that autistic people don't feel any empathy. I actually think at the end a lot of people who are autistic actually have more empathy, because they're constantly having to think about how somebody else may feel and how they would feel if they were that person. And a lot of neurotypical people will just sort of go, well, I don't care because I'm mad at them and blah blah blah. And as an autistic person, I find will be more empathetic, because it's what they've had to learn, what they've had to digest, what they've really had to take in. So what it's like to be autistic is very much, for me, I didn't know any different, but for me, as I was getting older, I definitely felt that shift with the environment I was in, and how a lot of places aren't accommodating, a lot of places aren't supportive, a lot of places aren't knowledgeable or aware of autism enough. And I don't think that's because people or places don't want to be. I think for them it's just something they don't think about on a day-to-day basis. As for me, obviously going through it and living and having that experience, I think about it on a day-to-day basis. And because of that, also highlights other conditions and other things that people go through, which might make me more empathetic towards people. When I can be watching a show and someone will go, oh, this person's being horrible, this person's being horrible, and I still feel a little bit of sense of empathy for these characters that are on television. This is why I love acting, because I think acting is just more than playing a bad person. You, as a bad person, if you're going down the sort of Walter White sort of route,
say my name.
You have to see goodness in a character for you, and you have to be able to believe that as a character to be able to play that part to its best. So what it's like to be autistic, it can feel very lonely at times. You can feel that you're constantly wrong. You can feel that you are never good enough, never gonna be good enough. You can feel that you just never do anything right. You feel that you're stupid. You feel that you aren't very liked. You feel like you aren't very understood. You feel that you're worthless. You feel like you aren't as good as anybody else, and you feel like you're missing something, and you'll never be able to compare to a neurotypical person. And these are a lot of feelings that I felt growing up. Now, do I feel those feelings? Time and time again, and it can lead to depression, and it can lead to just being unmotivated and not wanting to really do anything. And then it leads to, for me, it can then lead to OCD, more things like that happening, more stress, more anxiety, more coping strategies, which you do to cope with what's going on. And it's being able to, I think the best ability that I've been able to gain through growing up being autistic is being able to analyse myself and be able to take those step backs and be able to sort of go, okay, am I overthinking it here? Am I being too pessimistic? Am I being too negative? Am I putting too much pressure on myself? Because all these things can happen. And I'm not saying it just happens to autistic people, because there's neurotypical people it will happen to as well. But for an autistic person, an OCD person, it will be so much harder to let go of that thought and carry on your day-to-day life, because for me, I hang on to things and I take things to heart, I take things personally, and sometimes I have to sort of let that go and just sort of go, you know what, I ain't gonna worry about that. So it can be difficult. But in a summary, guys, for me, that was what it was like and is like to be autistic. And it's a constant battle of trying to spread that awareness and that knowledge to help people understand it more and also support people who are autistic as well. But guys, if you ever need to chat, feel free to comment down below, message me on social media. Please subscribe, because it does help this channel a lot. And guys, thank you for watching as always. Take care and goodbye for now.